You are Locked On Ole Miss, your daily podcast on the Ole Miss Rebels. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Do us a favor, like, subscribe, and comment on the video. Subscribe to the podcast in whichever audio podcatcher you're listening to this in and give it a 5-star review. It costs absolutely nothing but keeps all of this free. But if you want more, join the Insiders program at the subtext link down below. No trolls, 14-day free trial, and the easiest way ever to cancel, so give that a try. And don't forget to check out a second listen on the network. Nearly every team, college or pro, is ready for you. Listen, I'm kind of excited, just low-key excited about where this offense can go. And this isn't a Trinidad Chambliss thing or an Austin Simmons thing. I expect when Austin Simmons is healthy, he's going to be the guy. It's one of those things, you need both. You have weapons. You have the ability to make the defensive coordinator for the other team prepare multiple ways every single game. You do that. And I mean, that just makes sense. So, but this is about what the offense will look like. And I noticed this, honestly, on the play after Austin Simmons re-injured his ankle against Arkansas when he threw the touchdown pass. And how much that play particularly looked like the old Matt Leinart USC stuff. Now, I'm not saying they're going to win the Heisman or anything like that. I'm talking stylistically of what they want this to look like. Lane Kiffin, at his core, he's a running coach. If you know ball, you know he's a running coach. And he throws the ball as a result of being able to run the ball, especially power ball. He wants to be able to line up when you know it's coming and you can't stop it. He's done it now against Kentucky, and he's done it against Arkansas. And let's be real about something. There has been a maturity of a head coach on the sideline for Ole Miss this season. The Kentucky game and the Arkansas game, last year's team, I think they would have lost those games. I genuinely do. I don't know that Ole Miss could have survived 2 interceptions against Kentucky on the road. Heck, Kentucky beat Ole Miss last year, but I don't know if Ole Miss is able to pull that game out. Ole Miss was able to go 30-13 in the second, third, and fourth quarters in that game. And against Arkansas, they played an unbelievably clean offensive game. Any mistakes and Arkansas wins it. There was none to be had, no turnovers, no penalties, all of that stuff. It worked out for the Ole Miss Rebels. Now, with the Tulane Green Wave in town, you kind of take the next step because you look at the schedule. Everybody knows what's coming up after this game, okay? But this game is important in its own right. Tulane is either ranked or receiving votes at this point. Some pollsters are ranking Tulane, and they deserve to be. I genuinely think that when the season is said and done, Tulane's going to be the G5 participant in the college football playoff. But I think Ole Miss just has a little bit too much. I think this is a terrible matchup for Tulane. And because of that, this is the game where Lane Kiffin gets to test out his theory of what he wants to become, how he wants to evolve this offense. The tempo and all that stuff is never going away, but they'll slow it down from time to time now. Have you noticed that? They will play slow and play as the favorite from time to time. They don't want a situation where the other team can run clock because they know that they are talented enough to get first downs regardless. They do not have to rely on the tempo. They are good enough to proceed as it is. So Ole Miss, I think in this game, especially with as leaky as Tulane's run defense has been, again, they gave up nearly 6 yards a carry against Duke, including multiple explosive plays. They gave up nearly 5 yards a carry on the road at South Alabama. Our boy Kentrell Bullock went over 100 yards in that game. I think there's a chance for this offensive line to do a little work. I think there's a chance for Kewan Lacey to have a breakout game. And I think there's a chance with Trinidad Chambliss and Logan Diggs that you see 20-something personnel in the backfield. It could either be 21 or 22, but I think they're going to go with multiple backs from time to time. One back going out for a flare pass and the other one, it's the RPO thing. You can either throw the swing if they're outside or hand the ball off inside. That's one of the go-to plays that you see in the RPO world. And they're going to try and torture linebackers as much as they can. We always used to talk about, heck, it's been 2 or 3 years now. When Lane Kiffin's offense is really working, they torture linebackers. And this power running game is the first step. If they can get that going against Tulane, that is the first step to being able to do that, especially with a really good defense in multiple facets coming up over the next month or so on the schedule. Ole Miss needs to be able to run the football. He needs it to look like it did in 2003 when Norm Chow and Lane Kiffin and Steve Sarkisian were all on the same staff and they were dialing up pressures all over the place, to where they were handing the ball off to Reggie Bush or Lindell White, or play passing to them and having wide open receivers down the field. It's the left-handedness of Austin Simmons that made me go here. But that is the offense I think Lane Kiffin wants to have happen. We'll see what it looks like. I think Lane can do it. I think Ole Miss can do it. And with Kewan Lacey, you have definitely somebody that has the chops to be able to pull that off. You also have great skill players all over the field. What I liked about the game against Arkansas, and I think this is something hopefully that Lane kind of picked up on as well. What I really liked in that game is that like 9 receivers caught passes. It wasn't a blowout to where you put the backups in. They just spread the ball around. If you were open, you got it. And whenever that happens, this offense becomes so hard to stop. The only hope that defenses have generally against the Ole Miss offense is if they start locking in and forcing balls to one receiver. Whenever that happens, they can lock it up a little bit. But if you can run the ball, use play action pass, and spread the ball around to your receivers and tight ends, the offense becomes unstoppable. There's nothing you can do about it. And it doesn't matter how good of a coach John Sumrall is. It doesn't matter how good of a team Tulane is. You're not stopping that offense if that gets going. The best hope that Tulane has in this game, and it's a real hope, it can happen, is Trinidad Chambliss starts and kind of comes back to earth. Throws a couple of ill-advised interceptions, maybe fumbles the ball, a couple of weirdly timed penalties. Stuff like that will bring the gap and shrink it down. And Tulane can get you then. Tulane is a good team. They are a really good team. I think they have a chance to be the 11-1 college football playoff G5 recipient. They're probably the best G5 team out there. So we'll see what it looks like. I am really excited about where this can go, honestly. All right, coming up in our final segment, this game has trap written all over it. If you look at last week against Arkansas, next week against LSU, and a ranked team at number 11 and number 13 coming in, it kind of gives a chance for Ole Miss to show some consistency and efficiency. We will look at this game, kind of give our picks, and we'll also look at some of the props. We'll break down which ones we like the most and why, coming up next. Thank you for making Ole Miss your go-to source for Ole Miss sports, Locked On Ole Miss, I should say. We pride ourselves in offering the most comprehensive perspectives, which is why we're the front door of Ole Miss. If you don't believe me, search Ole Miss Podcast on Google and see how much we come up. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. It helps the show, and it is totally free. Your support means the world to us. In another big moment for Locked On, a show that I am on this week, if you have an Amazon Fire TV, college football fans, Locked On and Fire TV are presenting College Football Kickoff, your ultimate college football weekly preview. Drake Tall of Locked On Big 12 leads the conversation, two-time AP Coach of the Year Gary Patterson, and former college star Jesse Holley, and Locked On's local experts. A college football preview only Locked On can do. Catch College Football Kickoff every Thursday throughout the season, only on Fire TV. Hotty toddy, everybody. And remember, analytics is just the old English word that means bad football. We'll see you later.